Okay, today was the big cut down day for all the teams, Vikings included. Kind of expected more. Kind of expected more big news to come out. Probably the biggest news was yesterday when they traded Mekhi Blackman to the Colts for another late pick, a sixth. Kind of a you know the story there is just another. I, I almost hate to say a bad draft pick because it looked like he was a pretty good draft pick his rookie year 2 years ago. Then last year he blew out whatever he blew out, like right at the start of training camp, and you know missed the season and was back this year. Was not good. Did not, you know, all the reports at camp that he didn't do well, and was not good in the preseason. At least they got some for him, but that's a big disappointment because it looked like he was going to be, 2 years ago, it looked like he was going to be, one of your guys for quite a while. Um, and then who else they did make a couple other cuts here. I know they cut Chapman, the other punter, who was competing with Ryan Wright. He had that one bad hold in that last preseason game that probably did him in. But he'll probably be on the practice squad. And that's always the thing with these cuts. Most of these guys are going to end up back on the practice squad, unless they get picked up. And that's we get all the cuts, but then there's all the waiver claims. We don't find that out for like 24 hours or something like that. We'll find out tomorrow. If the Vikings claimed anybody, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did because there are some names out there. But as far as the cuts today, there really weren't. The only kind of surprising name was Gabe Murphy. The linebacker. He was definitely considered kind of a lock to be in the rotation for pass rush, but they didn't think so. So I'm sure he's one of the many guys that they would love to have back on a practice squad if it works out. Surprisingly, for a team that is, has been talked about very often, they need receivers. They cut 3 receivers: Lucky Jackson, Thayer Thomas, and who the fuck was the other one? I forget. But so like their their wide receiver room right now is very, very thin. So they're going to be doing something at wide receiver for sure. Um, and also, it was talked about, mentioned, that they at the moment they have 7 undrafted free agents, undrafted free agent rookies on the roster, which is including Max Brosmer, of course, who did make it. That was pretty much guaranteed once they cut Rippon. Maybe I hadn't done one since they cut Rippon. Yeah, they cut Brett Rippon. He'll be their practice squad quarterback if unless someone else picks him up, which nobody will because he's not very good. So yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's always weird. Like you look at the 53. It's like they make a big deal with the 53. It's not going to be the 53. This time tomorrow, it's not going to be the 53 anymore. But it's just interesting to see. But yeah, no big name. Really, really no. Other than maybe Murphy, there was nobody who was cut today that was a surprise. Maybe it's more surprising, like guys who did make the 53, initial 53, like Ty Chandler. There was a lot of talk that he might be out of here, but he stayed. Now they put C.J. Ham on the injured reserve that you can return from. So maybe that's going to keep Chandler here. I mean, Chandler's not a fullback. We don't have like an actual fullback replacement for Ham. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Chandler will fill that role or something. Or maybe they'll just use a tight end. But there's, I don't know if there's anybody else who was like expected maybe to be cut who who made it through. But then the big stuff will be like who comes in, who we still go get, because we got to get probably two receivers. We definitely have to get at least another cornerback now. That could be guys who were released today. Um, as far as cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, he's still out there. He was here last year, did okay. I mean, you know, to me, it doesn't reflect that well on Kwesi that, here we are, cut down day, less than 2 weeks now before kickoff in Chicago, and they're scrambling for uh, players at a couple positions. It's like you would have hoped that somebody was going to step up um, at these positions to kind of emerge. It didn't happen. So we're gonna have to get somebody. Um, yeah, I would certainly go just call up Stephon Gilmore and say, hey, you're not on our roster. You know the system. You were here last year. You did okay. Why don't you come in? Because as of now, we're relying on you got Murphy, you got Isaiah Rodgers, you got Jeff Okudah. You know, it's pretty thin. We got Nudie. Nudie made it. Nudie made it back on the roster. There was one other cornerback who stuck around. Ambry Thomas, is that his name? But we need more guys. And then wide receiver. The reports continue to swirl about Adam Thielen, sounding a little more less like it's less likely now that maybe the Panthers are asking for too much. I don't know. Maybe they think that they can really fleece the Vikings in a deal. I mean, I don't know what. I wouldn't give up anything. I wouldn't give up anything above a day 3 pick for Thielen. I mean, I think Thielen's got stuff left in the tank, and obviously he can be good here. But I wouldn't give up a lot if they're just asking for the farm. You're not giving it to them. So Thielen thing might not happen, but KJ Osborne got cut by Washington. Obviously, he's the key right now is kind of you want to bring in a guy who who can get in there right away, because you need him for at least the games that Addison misses, and we don't know yet Naylor if he's going to really be able to go. And look, Jefferson did get injured early in camp, and I'm sure they were just holding him out as a precaution, but he didn't do anything in the preseason, didn't participate basically in any of camp. He's probably the one guy you don't need to have, but you never know. Is it going to be like a lingering thing? Like, you need some receivers, who can play. So Osborne, I would certainly, one thing that hurts is the Vikings are at like the low end of the waiver claims. Now, I think Osborne is a guy they don't have to worry about. I think he's just immediate free agent. But some of these other guys, you may not get a chance to get him. Like the Panthers cut Hunter Renfrow, maybe you get him. Was it Robert Woods, cut by the Steelers? He's got some familiarity because he was with the Rams, so it's the offensive system. He knows it. I think we got to get two guys at receiver, and probably at least one cornerback. I don't think there were any names, cornerback names who were cut. Duke Shelley was cut. Laquan Treadwell was cut. We can go get him. I cannot believe Laquan Treadwell is still in the National Football League, although I guess technically he's not because he was released. But it's unbelievable that guy's managed to somehow manage, almost a full 10-year career. But I know there were a couple other former Vikings who got cut. I can't think of them off the top of my head. There weren't like a lot. I didn't see like even just in general in the league. I didn't see like a lot of like noteworthy names that were released. Um, but there's talent out there. I think you know I think Wasey's he might even late at night here when I'm doing this. He's probably working the phones and trying to get some guys in here. So the 53 will definitely change soon, but you know I don't I don't know if it's a good reflection or not of GM that we have all these undrafted free agents on the rosters at the moment. It's like it's good that you can identify them, and we've done that. Ivan Pace was undrafted. Going back further, Thielen, but we've had some success over the years with getting guys, but I think you want to be hit more on those draft picks, and it really hurts when a guy like Mekhi Blackman, you got to just dump for whatever you can get. So we'll see. I mean, obviously a large part of this season, I mean, the whole season rides on a Kwesi draft pick and JJ McCarthy, but also that Dallas Turner pick has gotta prove useful. Does sound like Donovan Jackson, our first rounder from this year, is going to be day one starter, week one starter, so that's good. But we'll see. I'll probably do another video if we make the big receiver moves. I don't think they're gonna. If they make a big like trade for anybody, I think it'll be Thielen. I don't think they're gonna. What was it? Jacoby Myers is maybe on the trade block. I don't think they're gonna get him in here because you got to pay him a lot more money than you'd be paying some of these other guys. I trust them. I trust them to do what they got to do. So, anyway, kind of a boring cut down day, but I guess that's okay too. So, we'll see what happens. We'll get some more guys in here and complete this roster and get ready for the Bears in about 2 weeks.